Jake, what are we doing? We're gonna see Wicked!
We just got out, by the way, hi. We just got out of the Pantages of watching Wicked. It was my very first official show. I don't count any, like,
it's a musical.
Small theater productions, like, as a real, I mean, it's a real show, obviously, but I don't count it as, like, a big, real theater kind of a gig.
High budget.
A high budget, like, real gig. And Jacob has known this since I met him, and Jacob loves Wizard of Oz too, but I've always loved The Wizard of Oz because it was one of my mom's, it was my mom's absolute favorite movie, and so I grew up watching Wizard of Oz pretty frequently, and, like, I've always been a huge fan of the movie. I'm not as familiar with the book franchise. Jacob is, and I know slightly of the books, but I loved the musical so much. Wicked was so fantastic. It was so fantastic. Yeah, it was just really, 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 really good. What do you think, Bubs? I know you've seen it before.
I love this show, even with all its little problems and its little, like, didn't we just, it kind of falls apart a little bit in the second act too, but I love it for what it is, and for all the references and homages they pay to the Judy Garland film and the original books and the original Wicked novel, awful as it is.
Is it awful?
It's a terrible, terrible book. It's a terrible book, and I'll tell you why later. But I genuinely adore Wicked as a musical. It was probably the musical that got me back into musicals. I mean, I've always enjoyed them, but then, you know, listening to the Wicked soundtrack and seeing it at the Pantages really made me, like, love musical theater all over again. And I have some finer thoughts, but pause, please.
Finer thoughts, but pause.
Hello.
Thank you too. Unpause.
I think that, I wish I could remember her name. Emma Raven Lampman. Emma Lampman. The Alphaba, I think she was phenomenal.
Our Alphaba was tonight was the stand-in Alphaba, but she was absolutely fantabulous.
And I am not upset in the least bit that we got the standby instead of
I'm not either. She was fantastic.
The normal one. I've heard the other one's name before, and I know she's done it off and on for a while. Not to say that she's bad or anything. I've never heard anything bad about Emma Hunton, but oh my goodness, she was this girl was just. Did we need the one we came up north?
I don't remember which way we need to go.
South. We need to go south. So I'm just oh my gosh.
It was just everything.
It was just everything.
Everything. So good.
But this Alphaba was fantastic. I've seen Stephanie J. Block do the role. And the role was written for Stephanie J. Block. It was written for her, and she couldn't do it for some reason. But I missed it. Alright.
Good job.
We'll find a U-turn and then I'll come back around. But to see this girl in it, like, she just had such a flexible, beautiful voice, and she didn't make it about, like, all the vocal runs, which a lot of Alphabas do. They make it all about being like a pop star. Which, you know, it's always really cool to hear somebody hit a higher note than they were supposed to, and, like, they just go all out. But sometimes it's also really nice to hear just someone sing the score really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what she did. She sang it as written, but she sang it so well and with so much finesse. Like, she sounded like a freaking CD.
She sounded amazing.
She, like...
Her voice did not sound like a live voice. It sounded like a pre-recorded voice because it was so smooth.
A pre-recorded voice with all the mixing.
It was
and
so
studio
smooth and
magic.
perfect.
And few of the other singers in the show, like near the end of the second act, you could tell they were kind of like, "You're crapping out on me," but not her. She
was solid the entire time.
She sounded like she could have sang it again, like done the whole show one more time, and that was phenomenal. I wasn't as impressed with the Glinda singing.
Really, I loved her. I loved her singing, and I loved her acting more than her singing.
Her acting was what sold her for me. I've heard. My first Glinda was Kendra Cossabum, and she is the Glinda that I saw with Stephanie J. Block. And Kendra Cossabum had a slightly deeper voice. She could still hit all those soprano notes like nobody's business, but she was more of a she had more of a belty voice. And I freaking adored her so much.
You adore her.
I adore her.
You adore her.
And she was just as good as can be. And she was my first going on an adventure.
We're going on an adventure to figure out how to get back home. And we're winding through a neighborhood right now, which we're completely unfamiliar with. But look at the... Oh, that's not a view. That's someone's house. There was a really nice view a minute ago. Look at that view. Look, that's wood.
She was a great actress, though, and I really enjoyed that about her.
Our Glinda was fantastic. She was amazing, and I want to be her.
I'm also going to give a special shout out to the chistery. Because my favorite thing with chisteries are when they stumble over the line. Chistery's one line. Linda. I love when they do it like they've never actually been able to speak before, because I've seen videos of so many chisteries that just say it like, Miss Glinda? Like, I thought you couldn't speak, bitch.
They pull from the Judy Garland movie. She's dead. You killed her.
Yeah.
That one.
So whenever a chistery says that line really well, like he's trying really hard to do it for Elphaba now that she's, all that, then I'm always just like, oh god, it's so beautiful.
I loved everything about it. And I loved the little Dorothy silhouette that they did at the very end when they were melting
with
Elphaba.
Her bouncy pigtails, just like
it was.
Oh, no.
they got that Judy Garland silhouette perfect.
One of my favorite things in the show is the little music motifs, like when the scarecrow stumbles on the stage, you can actually hear the music go.
Really? I missed it.
It's really hard to hear. I know it's there, so I always listen for it. But it's really soft and it's really quiet, and it's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
I'll find a recording and show you.
It was really good though. And now I want to watch Wizard of Oz. Now I want to go home and watch that.
Yeah. I mean, good. That's because it was a 6:30 showing. It's like, wow, it's only 9:41. It was a 6:30 showing.
Yeah. It was good though. I loved it. So we're at home now, and Pancho was just trying to eat my pen. I don't know why, but he wanted to. But as I said, I really, really liked the show, and I'm so glad we got to go see it, because it was fantastic, and it was my first show, and I am glad that was my first one, because I think it was really good. But we're gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, right, Pancho? Yeah. Maybe not. You won't eat the pen because the camera's watching you, huh? You want to. As soon as it's off, then you'll be eating this pen. Oh, there it goes. Your breath is terrible. Okay, I don't know what his deal is. See you guys tomorrow. Bing!